back to my channel. I'm your host Mohsen Ali and you are watching Global Scope News. And today we are talking about something that making a lot of waves in India. It's an issue that affected the future of thousands of religious properties, especially those donated for the welfare of the Muslim community. The Indian government has proposed major changes to the Waqf properties law, and it's causing a lot of controversy, particularly among Muslims. There are concerns about the potential consequences of these changes. Today we will break down what these proposed changes are, why they are causing so much concerns, and what the potential implications could be for the Muslims community in India. Before we dive deep into today's topic, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video if you want more updates on important issues like this. Let's get started. The concepts of Waqf goes back centuries in the Muslims world. It refers to properties that are donated for religious and welfare purpose. These donations can include land, buildings, or other assets that are meant to benefit the community at large. The key point is that these properties are meant to be used for the greater good and they cannot be sold or used for private gain. Instead, they are to remain as a permanent source of welfare for the community, whether it be through funding for mosques, schools, and other charitable causes. In India, the Waqf system has been in place for many years. Under the Waqf Act of 1995, the government established a framework to manage these properties, ensuring that they were protected and used properly. This act created a state level Waqf board, which were entrusted with the task of overseeing Waqf properties. These boards are made up of various members, including religious leaders, scholars, government officials, and legal experts. Their main job was to make sure that these properties were managed effectively and in line with the intended purpose. However, despite this framework, mismanagements and corruption have plagued the system over the years. There have been multiple reports of illegal encroachments on Waqf land. Encroachments on Waqf lands, some of which were taken over by private individuals or companies. And in some cases, Waqf properties were sold off for personal profit. This has led to growing concerns about the efficiency and transparency of the Waqf boards. Critics argue that these boards are not doing enough to prevent illegal activities and they protect the Waqf properties as they should. This is where the government's new proposed changes to the law come in. The government has proposed reforms that are aimed at improving the management of Waqf properties and addressing the corruption and mismanagement issues. The main argument is that the new rules will help ensure that Waqf properties are better managed, more accountability, and used more effectively to benefit the community. However, there are serious concerns among Muslims and many opposition groups about the possible consequences of these changes. One of the biggest changes being proposed in the definition of work for properties could be altered. Under the current system, properties that have been used as work for many years, even without formal documentations, are still considered part of the work. This is because many Waqf properties were donated long ago, often with informal agreements or simply by oral tradition. But the new law, but the new law proposes to remove this recognitions for Waqf properties that don't have official documentation. This means that many Waqf properties could be at risk of being challenged or even lost if they don't have the right paperwork. This change is particularly concerning for Muslims in India because many Waqf properties, especially old mosques or graveyards, don't have formal documents proving their ownership. Over time, these properties have become integral have become integral parts of the community, serving as places of worship, learning, and burial. Without official documentations, there is a real fear that these properties could be claimed by others and and the government sides. This poses a serious threat to the heritage and traditions of the Muslim community in India, especially in areas where Waqf properties have existed for centuries. Another controversial aspect of the proposed changes is the suggestion that non-Muslims could be included on the boards that manage work properties. Currently, the boards are made up primarily of Muslims leaders and scholars who are in charge of overseeing the proper use of these properties. However, the government's proposals includes the possibility of appointing non-Muslim members to the board. While some argue that this could bring a more balanced perspectives and reduce corruption, so many Muslims are opposed to this change. They fear that it could lead to a loss of control over their own religious and charitable assets. They believe that these properties should be managed exclusively by the Muslims community, as they are donated for the benefits of Muslims and their religious practices. Additionally, the personal Additionally, the proposal includes a plan to register Waqf properties was district authorities, which could allow local government officials to decide whether a property is actually part of the Waqf system. This would effectively give the government more control over Waqf assets, potentially opening the door for further encroachments or even privatization of these properties. Critics of the bills argue that this could result in loss of control over workforce properties, and it might even lead to the misuse or sale of valuable workforce land. The issue of historical properties is another important concern. Many of the workforce properties in India, such as old mosques, graveyards, are not only important religiously but also hold historically significance. These sites are crucial landmarks that have been part of the India landscape for generations. The new bill could lead to these sites being re-examined and some many even be lost due to the changes in the way work properties are handled. Muslims fears that these historically important sites might be displaced or resigned to other uses, undermining the cultural fabrics of the community. Despite the government's assurance that these changes are meant to reform and improve the system, many Muslims believe that the changes are part of a larger agenda to weaken the community's control over its own assets.